What is your most memorable result where you thought, you know what, we could possibly lose this, but it turned around because of how you engaged or how you told the story? Let's talk about how that is and how you got that result.
Yeah, as you heard many times from me, I don't like losing. Okay, I need to win. Okay. And I will go all the way to do that. So what I find in this last case that we were at, that we was a very long case. The trial went on for 3 weeks, and I was the last expert over there. And as I looked at the jury, they were half asleep. They were bored like you cannot imagine. And I thought, I got to wake them up. Okay. And my wife kind of laughs when I tell her what I did. So I'm explaining to the jury in orthopedics and back situations the straight leg raising test. And the straight leg raising test that we do in the examining room in my clinic is the patient lies on the table and then you lift the leg all the way up. Okay? And that tells you if they have a sciatica, whatever. Guess what I did in the courtroom? In my chair, I put my leg right up on the counter. Okay? And then I lifted my leg all the way up and they could see what a straight leg raising test was. Okay. And
Right.
they woke up and they smiled. You could see them smiling. And then they wanted me to, the attorney, we rehearsed this, to educate them on the case. It was a spinal case. I had the model of the spine in my hand. So I got up from my chair. I walked right in front of the jury. And there I explained to them, pointing with my finger to the lamina, to the body of the vertebra, to the discs, how these things happen, made a few jokes about some people who don't know the back from the front from the back. Some doctors don't know which end of the patient eats. And they were laughing and they were relaxed and they were making notes in their in their books. And do you know, we won the case, and the attorneys said to the jurors afterwards, tell us how, they said, we were so impressed and we so much enjoyed Dr. Siegel.
Wow. See, that's, I think what I'm learning from you as well is that you don't care whether you win over the lawyer and you don't care whether you win over the judge. It seems to me that you're only interested in winning over the jury. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that seems to be the best appropriate action, because if you win the jury,
you're going
to win the, you've won the case.
Yeah, because, you know, in our law system here in America, it's a jury trial, okay? In other parts of the world, they don't have a jury. You know, 2 or 3 judges sit there and listen to the situation, or sometimes even in the United States of America, there's not a jury, and it depends on the judge. And of course, the judge has his own biases or whatever. So I think, with all due respects, it's not a perfect system, but
yeah,
the jury system seems to work because it's the common man that is looking at the situation. Like they say in England, the man on the Chatman bus. You remember that statement? The man on the Chatman bus.
You know, you mentioned something there that I think is important to jump into. You mentioned the word bias, right? And we all have bias. I have biases in my side of things. You have a bias. The judge has a bias. The you know, people in the jury have a bias. How do you equate that? How do you identify that bias? Because it seems to me as well that when you identify the behavior, which is something I'm particularly interested in work with, when you identify the behavior and the bias, you can take a different action and start to kind of control the narrative a little bit more. But have you found at any time in your trial history or any examples that you have that the bias has been overwhelming, that you just haven't been able to break through them because it's so rigid?